guys, Andrew here with Dad Verb. So the word Montessori has really grown in the parenting sphere, and sometimes it feels like the perception of it is a lot louder than the actual core philosophy. And that's what I wanted to focus on here in this video. What is the Montessori method, and is it just another trend to shame you into overthinking screen time, or is it something that your family can actually benefit from? So let's start with the why. If I were to elevator pitch this, I'd say that this philosophy was made to empower children and develop independent learners from the very beginning. This method was developed by Maria Montessori, who was an Italian physician and educator she emphasized independence and really saw children as naturally eager learners. So with that in mind, let's get into her philosophy, how it's practiced, and to make it as simple as possible, there are kind of three major groups that we'll bucket it into. The first is going to be observation. The idea here being to watch the child first and then adjust their environment accordingly to the right level to challenge their mental development. Now, beyond giving the child what he or she needs, with this method, there is no unnecessary help given. And that might be odd to some people, but a large reason for that is because in this method, children aren't seen as inferior little beings that are incapable of anything without our adult help. In fact, it's quite the opposite. They're seen as people who should be respected and not talked down to. Yes, they are small, sure, but they are fully capable of learning and doing on their own. It is on us to set them up for success, but ultimately, it'll empower their innate want and ability to learn. Now, in Montessori schools, you'll notice that it's not really a top-down approach where you've got one teacher directing a whole group of people. Instead, you'll see very specific learning centers where the kids are kind of directing their own learning. Implementing this at home, it's kind of similar where the parents aren't exactly calling the shots, but that isn't to be confused with, giving kids complete freedom to do whatever they want, because there is a structure here, and we'll get into that. So that leads me to the next major bucket, and that's regarding environment and practical life. You'll notice that in Montessori-inspired playrooms and the toys themselves, they have a very certain aesthetic, and those are more than just pretty Instagram inspo shots, right? These spaces are thoughtfully designed to foster an environment where children can be like us. The thought being that everything should be at a child's level. The chairs, the tables, bookshelves, hooks, if needed, stools and stands to reach bathroom sinks and kitchen counters. They have access to what they need and perform tasks as we do. Again, enforcing the ideology that they're more than just kids to entertain and protect and do things for. They are people who can explore and accomplish tasks on their own. Now, the sponsor of this channel, if you're not already familiar, is Lovevery, right? They make Montessori-inspired play kits, but this is a good opportunity to talk through the methodology of toys in a Montessori environment. And I'm gonna put Lovevery on the spot here, in part because, yep, they're a sponsor, but also because I think they're a great representation of the types of toys that are meant to be used. Now, looking at these images, there is a stark contrast to what toys are encouraged with this method. With Lovevery and Montessori as a whole, the toys and activities are very much about hands-on engagement. The goal is to foster active learning and play instead of just static entertainment, which is why this method doesn't particularly favor screens or toys with like flashing lights and sounds powered by batteries. So if this is a road that you are planning on going down, establishing the right environment and filling it with thoughtfully designed toys actually is pretty important, which is why Lovevery is so heavily embraced by this community, since their play kits have already been carefully curated and designed to meet the developmental needs of your child by age, and you don't really need to supplement their kits with anything else. So if you're interested, be sure to check out the link in the description to become a Lovevery Play Kit subscriber. Montessori or not, these are great purpose-driven kits that have your child really focus on developing hand-eye coordination, arts and crafts, language, practical life, like pouring skills like what you might see in the Investigator Play Kit. It's pretty cool. I'll have that link below. Go check it out. Harking back to the environment, the toys are laid out to be easily accessible and it's highly organized, you'll notice. And that's for a reason. The activities, they're trying to promote focus and understanding very specific tasks. And digging through a toy chest full of clutter and distraction is the antithesis of that. The toys are intentionally made of raw and natural materials like wood or felt because, they are safer than plastics. They're of a higher quality and last longer for repetitive learning. And they deliver a better sensory experience with regards to texture, sense, and even taste. There's also a sustainability aspect to it, as it is believed that children playing with naturally made materials at an early age may result in them gravitating to natural materials in the future. So with all that said, the last big takeaway that you should know about the Montessori method is something that you may hear a lot when doing research about this, and that's the phrase freedom within limits. So as you may have, put together, this approach allows the child to be the guide rather than the parent, but it doesn't mean that they can do anything and everything. In a Montessori environment, they are free to move around, choose based off of their own interests, communicate to develop those social skills, and most importantly, they're free to make mistakes and learn from them without us explaining or expounding the consequences of the mistake. But they do so within the limits that you've set in the environment that you've built. In schools, the core rules are that they respect themselves, their peers, and their environment. So over time, they're getting real world practice choosing the best path for themselves, which in turn kind of brings us full circle to the very top, ultimately leading to, the building of an independent learner who respects the rules of their freedom. So there you go. I hope this helped give you a good introduction as to what Montessori is. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button down there. It looks like a thumbs up. For more videos and reviews for young families, please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching this video and come back for the next one. God bless. Later.